Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, our children need help. Also, who will run in the new Congressional district? And in the U.S. Senate, one obstructs and one leads. What are we to do?
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
The dude abides. I don't know about you, but I take comfort in that.
Well, I find some comfort in the dude abiding as well. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, columnist and investigative reporter with APR. Welcome.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, guys.
You know, it seems to be chaos in the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House, while Alabama remained almost as calm as Lake Gunnersville at times.
Yeah.
But, it's not true in the capital city, just not calm at all. This week, Tommy Tuberville once again made his Republican colleagues furious, was the comment, because Josh, he failed to show up for a vote because he had to go to former President Donald Trump's hootenanny up at the golf course, and he said he was going to be on the front row. It didn't matter that he missed a vote.
Yeah, makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is prime Tuberville. I think a lot of Auburn fans will remember him skipping out on recruiting to go duck hunting, when he was the coach at Auburn. And listen, this is what he does. This is Tuberville. He is all about Tuberville. He is whatever he thinks best works for Tuberville, and everything else comes a distant second to that. And that was this vote on the banking committee, which he asked to be on the banking committee, and they put him on it, and then he misses a key vote that they were hoping they were going to be able to force Vice President Kamala Harris to come in and break a tie and make it a very partisan vote. But as it was, no need, because Tommy was up in Bedminster hanging out with Trump.
Well, Susan, Katie Britt voted to block Jared Bernstein, who was President Joe Biden's pick for his top economic advisor. Mm-hmm. But Tuberville once again showed that he has no interest in actually governing, just being in the government.
I think his main interest right now is keeping his nostrils as close to the butt cheeks of former President Donald Trump as possible. I don't know. It sounds like he's trying to maybe run for his running mate, or he thinks he's guaranteed a cabinet position. Like you said, Josh, it's all about Tuberville. Doesn't matter about the state.
And the other thing is he continues to hold up the appointments, nominations of top generals and flag officers, over 200. People, his own people, Republicans, Mitch McConnell, John Thune, tons of Republicans have come out and said, man, let's work this out.
Yeah.
I mean, you got generals retiring with nobody to replace them because they can't promote anybody to replace a general. I don't know much about the military, but I think that's pretty important.
Well, and Tuberville once again brushes it off and gives them the thumb, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a
finger of some sort. Yes.
Yeah, it's disgusting, really. I mean, it really is. I mean, you have all the generals there that are telling you, all the military leadership's telling you, this is making us less safe. You're putting our soldiers in harm's way. You are making our military readiness suffer because of this political stance that you've taken. There are compromises that have been put on the table that other Republicans have agreed to on this particular issue, and he refuses to back off of it. And he doesn't really have a legal leg to stand on. That's been explained to him many, many times. But he's going to continue to hold these things up, and it's just hurting our military guys.
I believe there's even an appointment to the Joint Chiefs, isn't there?
Yeah,
That he's also holding up. I mean, that's kind of important, Tommy.
Well, the thing is, and he says it's because of the military's decision to reimburse office or military personnel who goes for abortions or that goes for
because they have to go out of state if like they live in Alabama. They have to go out of state because it's not legal here.
If women in the military go to protect their own health, he says that he was going to hold these up until that policy was no longer in place. Well, that would be years after the Biden administration is gone. So we cannot do this. And the guy that he claims he came up with that policy for Tuberville did an interview with the Washington Post where he bragged about himself so much that Tuberville actually let him go. Probably the only smart thing he's done in a long time. On the other side, our Republican junior senator from Alabama, Katie Britt, has been welcomed into what I like to call Mitch McConnell's kitchen cabinet, where they make policy decisions on what's going to happen before the Senate. Josh, almost unheard of for a freshman senator.
Yeah, man, it's a quick rise up. She's made. Honestly, just reading the stories about Katie Britt, she's made quite a name for herself in a very short period of time, and I think. Honestly, I think that comes from the time that she spent there before, chief of staff to Richard Shelby. I think she worked with a lot of these folks. A lot of these people respect her, know her well, know that she's a sane individual that you can have a conversation with, and that she's not grandstanding for, personal advancement all the time. I mean, everybody there is grandstanding for personal advancement on some level.
Sure.
But at the same time, you can deal with somebody like Katie Britt and have a conversation, and you can rely on her to be relatively sane in these conversations.
And that's what the people of Alabama the fringe wants you to go up there and fight.
Right.
But the people of Alabama expect you to go up there and, as Katie Britt said, get us the best seat at the table that Alabama can get.
When she got this, when this was announced, she didn't say, "Oh, I'm so great, I'm so wonderful, people just love me." She said, quote, "I always said my goal is to ensure Alabama has the best possible seat at the table in the Senate." It's about the people of Alabama. It's not about Katie.
Yeah.
Which is
and that's the way she feels.
Total contrast to Tommy Tuberville, who it's all about Tuberville and nothing about the people of Alabama.
Right.
And it may be because Josh, he only lived here for a short period of time.
Yeah, somebody said that he was going to meet Trump somewhere, and they speculated that somebody had told him he needed to go vote, and he went to Florida where he lives to go vote.
Yeah.
Of course, the fact is he went to New Jersey. I understand that, but it was still a nice little joke. Yeah. No, you're right. It's listen, he's the definition of basically of a carpetbagger, and here we're stuck with this, and this is what we voted for, and this is what we got.
But we voted for Katie too, and we're getting true leadership out of it.
We are, and that's really, I think, at the end of the day, what we all want is to have people that are competent and people who don't say at the end of the day. But we're gonna have to leave it right there. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics.
When I first started off, it was all about being an entrepreneur. Very quickly, it went into all the environmental impact that we're having on our world right now. We needed a technology that could do something with all the plastics that are harder to recycle. We innovated and created a technology, advanced recycling.
My personal biggest pet peeve is kids who are not properly restrained, whether that be in a booster seat, a car seat, or even a simple seatbelt. Kids, they become projectiles, and it's terrifying.
It absolutely breaks my heart to know that something so innocent could be punished so severely.
Your children rely on you to be that person that says, no, you need to put your seatbelt on.
Today, Montgomery is a safer city. It's time to shift the narrative and take control of our future. We're reopening community centers, remediating blight, and revitalizing neighborhoods across the city. And we're unleashing new opportunities. Over the past year, companies have invested a record-setting $2 billion in Montgomery and created 2,000 jobs. This is a new Montgomery. And together, we're reimagining the possibilities.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. You know, the Supreme Court, and what I thought was kind of a shocking decision, the way they've been ruling lately, said that Alabama had gerrymandered the districts and ignored the black population. With the new ruling, it should allow for there to be, in 2024, new elections to our congressional districts. And if the maps are drawn fairly, they will favor black individuals in at least 2 of the 7 districts.
Right.
I was thinking about my old friend Possum George Jones. The line is, the race is on. And Josh, there's gonna be a lot of jockeying for who takes on that 7th district, which is going to be a lot of, and there's a lot of folks that actually qualify that are some really top level
Well, you got
Democrats.
State Senator Marie Coleman, State Representative Chris England, State Representative Guadalupe Gavan, Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed, Jefferson County Commissioner LaShonda Scale, Jefferson County Commissioner Sheila Tyson, State Senator Bobby Singleton, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin, Jefferson County Commissioner Sheila Tyson. I mean, this is a strong field.
That would be a crowded field if everybody jumped in, right?
Yeah, it absolutely would, and I'll put a couple other ones in there as well. You shouldn't forget Anthony Daniels, the House Minority Leader currently,
right.
who's
He's in
very
there.
well
Right.
respected around, and another former senator and current president at Alabama State University, Quentin Ross.
I hadn't thought about
I don't know.
that.
Well, I don't know that either of those are interested, but I would say if they hopped in, they would be formidable opponents to any of the people that are listed so far. But yeah, it opens up a wide range of possibilities. I'm interested to see, and if this whole thing can in some way bring the Democratic Party of this state together. It doesn't seem to be the case so far.
No,
but,
I was going to say, not so far.
Yeah, maybe we can get somewhere with this, because we have this opportunity to expand, kind of the Democratic footprint nationally here from this state, and surely some folks can get on the same page.
Well, and I know I've
Your
talked to
breath.
my Republican friends who say this is an opportunity for us to pick up 2 new districts,
Yeah.
or at least because the Democratic Party is in such disarray that they believe they're infinitely beatable.
Yes, yeah, and that's a fair mindset to take at this point. Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, we've all
it is.
seen the problems, we see the fighting, we see how hostile it is within the Democratic Party. We know that the fundraising has suffered. We know that there has been very little planning, at least outwardly. There's been very little social media outreach to promote the candidates or build candidates. And so right now you're starting basically from scratch on that side of the ball. And if you're the Republicans, you've got the money, you've got more votes all around. Yeah, you're going to have to draw districts that are more favorable to Democrats. But if they can't turn out the vote, and it's going to be
That's
pretty
right.
close to 50-50 in a lot of these, you're going to have a good opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take leadership, which we don't have at the moment in the Democratic Party. Or, as John Wall said, they're going to be very competitive. John Wall, the head of the Republican Party.
Right.
The Annie E. Casey Foundation released its annual kids book, Kids Count Data book, which ranks the well-being, Susan, of children. There was some good news in that for Alabama. There was a whole lot of not so good news and some really bad news.
Right. Now, they rank Alabama students in 41st in the country in 4th grade reading outcomes and 43rd in 8th grade eighth grade math, which, that's jumping 6 spots.
Yeah, they jumped
But-
up in those categories to remain at the 44th and the 40.
Yeah.
40
But mainly it was because the other states that they were comparing Alabama to were kind of slipping
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
their scores. So, well, it looks like a game. It's really kind of a, net equal here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy
it's
to catch
not-
somebody if they're running back towards you.
That's true.
That's true. I
That's
never thought
true.
about it like that. That's a well put. And and every headline I read, including APRs, sounded so positive. And then when you go ahead and you read the data, you go, no, our kids are in trouble. All the ratings are just awful for our children.
Well, we're ranking
Yeah.
third in graduations, which is only dropouts are at like 9%, 15th in the rate of how children have health insurance.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, well,
it's not just-
listen. At least we protected them from drag queens and transgender kids playing sports.
Well, and that is some legacy. When
Yeah.
you look at it, we're at the bottom 5 and 3 at low birth weight for our children, at child and teen deaths. We're at the lowest part of that rating.
Yeah.
I mean, and you say you value life and you say that you care about children. The data does not show that.
Yeah, it shows that you care about children when you have a pandering sort of promotional bill that you can set out in front of people and claim that these are the things that are attacking children. What's actually attacking children is the underfunding of certain schools, the underfunding of health care in rural communities and particularly in black communities, that the lack of access to health care in some, I mean, over half of our counties don't have a practicing pediatrician. That's atrocious. If you want to talk about protecting kids, those are the ways that you protect children. Okay, that's what we can do. It's laid right out in front of you in bare facts to show you where the problems are, and you don't get a lot of headlines out of those things.
And you know what? 23 out of every 1,000 of teen females, are getting pregnant in this state. That's an average. That's an outrageous amount. Now that's low. That's lower than it's been, but it's still a lot. And we don't teach sex education in the school, and parents don't teach sex education at home. So we have a vast majority of young female teenagers who don't know the basic facts.
Right.
All they're taught is to abstain. And that's like trying to tell a dog to not get on a gut wagon. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, and I mean, how many more lessons of this do we need over the course of our lives? And it's another example, though, of what we're saying. The practical approach that's sitting right in front of us is so often shelved for these, high visibility, pandering sort of promotional deals that we go through, where we just play pretend with these kids' lives, and we don't actually solve anything for any of them.
That's right. Be pro all life, not just the select ones.
like after they crown.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta leave it right there. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Throughout my career, I've seen many crashes, and a lot of the fatalities are from people who haven't worn their seatbelt.
Cars have rolled over multiple times.
I've had people end up in lakes, ravines. I've been looking for people in the woods for a couple hours before.
Usually just about every bone in their body is broken, their organs have ruptured, and typically they die.
You want to save a life, just simply click a button and put that seatbelt on.
Seatbelts really do save lives.
My dog Jupiter is frightened when I climb too high, the owl said.
Check for monsters, Daddy.
I did, honey. There are no monsters. You're perfectly safe.
Protect yourself and those you love. Vaccinate now.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. recently, Montgomery County Circuit Judge Jimmy Poole decided that John Cooper in the state of Alabama had acted in bad faith, had negotiated in bad faith with the Baldwin County Bridge Company, who has a toll bridge linking Baldwin County to the state's best beaches. And the state argues that they have a right to build a bridge, a private access bridge that's paid for by taxpayers. But John Cooper has taken a beating over this after, and all along, but after that ruling, he really got a beating. But recently, the Alabama Supreme Court issued another ruling saying that they would fast track the hearing. And they're going to fast track their final hearing on this, and the briefs from the lawyers are to be turned in by June 22nd, so that's next week.
Yep.
And I think in the end, Director Cooper is going to be exonerated and vindicated, because I don't see, Josh, and you tell me what you think, I don't see how a court can tell the state it can't build bridges because a private company wants to make money.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about this whole thing, honestly. And I guess maybe I'm not up on my bridge law as I should be. But you know, it just so here are the basic facts from a person on the outside looking in. Is I go to the beaches down there a lot, and I like it, and you know, but I hate the traffic. And so you essentially have two options. You have a crowded, public roadway that you can take to get down there, or you have a far less crowded toll road that you can take right now. And the traffic is backed up and it's a major congestion problem and major issues that they had. And so they studied this and determined that they needed another bridge down there, a public access bridge that they're gonna build near where the toll bridge is. Now, I mean, we have a problem. You have a public entity that's supposed to solve that particular problem, and they're trying to solve that problem. And I understand that it's going to cause financial harm to the private bridge company, okay? I get that, I do. But as far as I can see, there's no agreement with anybody saying that they shouldn't be building this bridge nearby. And if you have this problem, I don't understand how this is a court issue. Okay, that's my biggest thing here. First of all, y'all know I hate toll bridges to begin with.
Yes,
but,
you do.
But
it's a conservative in you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. But we're building this, and there's so many facts at play in this that are in the press releases about it and in the court statements about how much this bridge is going to cost. The new bridge is going to cost, and whose business is that? You know, this is our taxpayer entities. These are the folks that are. If the taxpayers aren't upset about it, what difference does it make in this argument? And I just don't understand how it can be improper to build a bridge to alleviate traffic flow problems in that area. I just don't understand that.
And I agree completely in that we got to think about, yes, okay, so the toll bridge on a regular day, you're going to sit in traffic for about an hour to get through that bridge. I mean, the congestion down there is ridiculous. But you got to remember, too, it's not people trying to get to the beach. It's also people trying to evacuate from the beach if there's bad storms coming in. You got hurricanes in there. You got to get people out of there as quickly as possible. And if you're limiting them to just what they've got now, you're going to see a lot of people that lose their lives or maimed or whatever in these hurricanes. So you got to remember it goes both ways here.
And one of the things the Baldwin County Bridge Company said is that they had offered to build another lane on their bridge and make it free access to the residents of Baldwin County. Hello, most of the people that go over to the beach are not from Baldwin County. They're from out of state or up here.
Yeah, even the folks that live, that have homes there, a lot of them, they're not actually Baldwin County residents. They have, they have property there, but I don't know if they would qualify for the free access lane or not. It just strikes me as kind of absurd that we can't build a bridge to alleviate traffic flow problems because there's a private company that built a bridge some years back. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
There's a
Well-
200-year-old Supreme Court case that says they can do just that.
Well, as you've
We
been
can
saying
build it.
over the last week, Bill, it's not only that, but is this going, if this case was to be successful and they were able to stop this bridge, which the building on it right now, the construction has stopped, what is to say that every other government entity isn't going to run into this with things that are their job? I mean, ALDOT, Alabama Department of Transportation, it's their job to fix these things. That's why we give them money.
That's right.
So now is with every other project, regardless if it's a road in Etowah County or whatever, if there's a private entity that's bidding for that, are they going to be able to sue the state every time?
Yeah, it seems
because
like
they don't
they
get the
would.
bid or something went wrong?
Yeah. I want to jump on this last bit right here. Two different surveys that came out this week that I thought were potentially interesting to look at. One survey that came out of the Quinnipiac polling thought that discrimination against LGBTQ people in the United States is a very serious problem by 33%, and a somewhat serious problem by 25%. And I read that poll on a day when this phony baloney, news site reported how the Alabama Department of Archives and History was holding a luncheon to look back at the LGBTQ community in Alabama. Well, then the next thing you know, we've got Scott Staghagen, who is the majority leader of the Republican House caucus, and him coming out and saying, he's shocked. What do you mean? Do you think there were never gays in Alabama? I mean,
you're trying to teach that history thing again.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
it's just awful, Josh, teaching history.
Yeah, it just, again, it kind of goes back to the thing we were talking about with the kids earlier, where we focus on these really insane issues like this, and to drive up hate and to make people feel bad and to try to, marginalize folks, and it just, why shouldn't they have a little luncheon to celebrate people?
Yeah.
And how does this bother you? I don't understand how this bothers anybody.
I don't know.
We're talking about the art, the history. We're having a party about the history at the Alabama Archives.
Yeah.
It seems very fitting to me.
Staghagen said he was alarmed and disappointed, and I am alarmed and disappointed that you're alarmed and disappointed.
Yeah.
But there you go. You've been watching the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.